This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSPORT Fan Network. TalkSPORT. Powered by fans.
Styles with a save. To the second here. A classic counter-attack, and Gibbs White puts Nottingham Forest 2 ahead. Here's one. 1-0 Forest. Has made an even bigger difference there. Nottingham Forest have snatched the lead at Anfield.
Hello, welcome to Red Side of the Trent as we look back on our 3-0 defeat at home to West Ham United, our worst home defeat since coming back up into the Premier League. And to discuss everything that happened at the City Ground this afternoon is Danny Tring and Reece Lane. Danny, I know your head is hot, but otherwise, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. You've replaced Christian, and you're going to be Christian hot today. I can already tell from our pre-conversation of this pod. Reece, are you well?
Yeah, I'm good, mate.
As well as can be. I mean, you know what's mad, right? The last 24 hours, we've had, obviously, Hudson-Odoi sign a new contract, which was great. We had the Europa League draw on Friday, which was brilliant. And then we've all been brought back down to earth by Forest, doing a Forest by losing to one of the worst teams in the Premier League this season in West Ham. Danny, starting off, what's your overall thoughts? I mean, I don't know if we'll talk about the game too much. I think it would just be more about a lot of different topics.
Overall, it was a disaster, wasn't it? It was a disaster from the first kick, really. Played at a pre-season level. The tempo wasn't there. Players didn't look interested. It almost looked like they were ready to go, either if they had a few days off or they're going on international duty. This was a bit of an inconvenience for them, having to play today. And like you say, it's mental when you consider that only last night, probably quarter, maybe half of the fan base are booking flights to Europe, and then the Hudson-Odoi news comes in, and then everyone you speak to is absolutely buzzing pre-match. And then the performance just felt the exact same way it reflected how everyone felt at pre-game at Brentford when Nuno come on and did them comments. It was like, that's how we all feel. We're all like, what is that? How have we gone from, we should be absolutely on cloud nine. Like, if Nuno hadn't said what he said, it would just be, oh yeah, we've lost, it is what it is. But we're all looking into things now. And the performance just absolutely, I've just said it to you, I think it's the worst we've played since we got promoted. We've played teams, we've got hammered 5-6-0, and you just thought, oh yeah, well, they're better than us. These are better than us. Like, today was like almost as if, my missus said on my own, she said it was like we'd got relegated, and that was the performance of a team that's relegated. And like, well, it is what it is. That last 10-15 minutes was like, well, almost, it was like, it's crazy to think that it's 3 games in, but it was almost like, oh, well, we're not interested. Like, it had nothing, it didn't look bothered at all. And you're like thinking, what? It's a crazy, it's only Forest can be like this. It is absolutely crazy. It was awful. Worst performance I can remember for a long, long time. And I've seen some rubbish at Forest, and that was awful. And they was awful. That's what made it worse. It's like people said with Brentford, oh yeah, but with Brentford crap. Brentford were better than them.
Yeah.
Brentford were better than them. They was. And I mean, it wasn't even like I think whoever said it on the pod at Brentford, well, did they make us look good, or did we make them look bad? They looked as bad as us. They was kicking the ball out for throw-ins as much as Gibbs White wanted to help him kick it out for a throw-in. Awful. That's my opinion on it. Awful.
Reece, do you echo Danny's opinion there?
Yeah, a lot of it I agree with. We never, ever got going. You're just looking at it from a fan perspective at half-time and thinking, right, we've had a couple of, we had the warning, didn't we? Sells made a good save from Paqueta. You'd expect him to save that, but it's a good, solid start. And you're thinking at half-time, right, we're 0-0, we've had a bad half. You've got all these options on the bench if Nuno needs to change it, which I thought he would have done at half-time. And you're thinking a kick up the backside, really, and come out second half. Like Danny said, I thought West Ham were poor, and I thought they were there to be taken. I know some fans are saying, yeah, their game plan, they were poor. And every time we pressed them first half, they started stuttering. And it was one of them games where if you get the first goal against a team who are under pressure, which Watson was, we'd have beaten comfortably today, and we just couldn't get it. First off, just overplaying, not pressing enough them into awkward situations. And then obviously there's plenty of time second half to change it because the game was drifting. The manager decided not to change it. And the game's just drifted away from it. And in the end, mate, we deserve what we got because, you know, there was players who had off days today, which happens in the Premier League, but you've got an array of talent on the bench and Nuno refused to use it. Is that stubbornness because of these players what Edu's brought in? You know, the optics just do not look good. And this is where you get all this like conversation from fans. And then you're kind of thinking, really, with 20 minutes to go, it's going to be either a bit of quality or mistake what wins the game. Potter, I mean, it beggars belief me saying this, but Callum Wilson come on and change the game for them. He come and change the game for them.
Him and Somerville.
Who's injury prone, what is he, 34, 35? And he was like dribbling around our defences. And we like players who are literally consistent every week. Like Murillo and Malenko, it's like they were diving in a couple of times, and it's like they don't do these things. Just so many people had off days, and then you have to hand it to Jared Bowen. It's a brilliant finish for the first goal. That is Bowen's a great player. He's better than West Ham, and I don't care if there's any West Ham fans listening. He's a top half Premier League player, and he always gives his all. You know, I see it. Obviously, he got a bit of stick in midweek. He's their talisman. He's produced, I know, something out of the hat today in which we should have cleared the ball before. And then we've just completely buckled, mate. But, you know, we go 1-0 down and then Nuno makes subs. You're bringing on players for 5 minutes and saying, yeah, go on, get us back in the game. That's no good to anybody. And then it was like, I think it was a Fulham home game last season where it was literally, players were just all over the place. And that's why we ended up being so disjointed. And that's why we ended up, by the end, losing 3-0. It was reminiscent, really, of when the first season at West Ham away, when Cooper brought John Joe Shelby up and we just fell apart. And we were 15 minutes to go. We lost 4-0. It was a complete same today. It was just, yeah. I mean, and then for Nuno to come on the radio and say, yeah, it was a bad performance and pretty much not change anything. I mean, I'm sorry, but you're just asking for trouble, aren't you? Let's be honest with the talk. You're just asking for trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I thought the pace of the game from us was non-existent. I thought I've seen more intensity in walking football with a bunch of geriatrics down the leisure centre. Do you know what I mean?
Dreadful game of football. Like Dan said, I wouldn't go as far and say it was worse than Brentford, but they weren't in any great shakes, West Ham. They weren't.
I think what kills me is like, I mean, Danny, I'll bring you on this. Like, against Brentford, the intensity was there. There was patterns of play. There was a clear game plan from us. The press was really good. It was really high. We got in Brentford's faces and we forced them into mistakes. I don't think West Ham really set up that well to really combat that. They got men behind the ball, granted, but we had no movement whatsoever. So it was easy for them. Like, I don't understand how that's changed within a couple of weeks. It makes no sense to me. With the same starting lineup, by the way, for the third game in a row. So it shouldn't change that much, surely.
Well, no, you'd think not. And that's what makes me go on about, like I said, with the Brentford being better than West Ham. We put them under a lot of pressure, and I thought a couple of their players come out did all right. I thought the right back had a decent game. Both centre halves tend to do all right. I know they lost 3-0, but like I say, today it was just from the first kick, they just didn't look. It was crazy. It looked as if it's picked 11 players who know they're going to play no matter what, and it looks like it's like the biggest message he could have sent today to that old dressing room and to the old club was bringing Gibbs White off at half time. You could be the biggest Gibbs White fan in the world. He was the worst player on the pitch today. No one was even close to how bad he was. There wasn't. First half especially. He was awful. Didn't look interested. Didn't look like he wanted to be here. He must have given the ball away. I mean, I don't know the stats. I'm telling you, 5 or 6 times easy is getting it to know. But with no even attempt, it's not even like people, the biggest supporters of him say, yeah, but he's trying to make stuff happen. It wasn't trying to make stuff happen. It was just flicking it to nowhere. It wasn't like trying to do a through ball, which was eye the needle stuff in that, well, I can see what he's done there. It was almost like, well, it was just petulance. Like, yeah, I'll flick that one away. Oh, that hasn't worked. Oh, I'll do it again. Nothing's going to happen. If he'd have bought him off at half time, it sends a message. And it sends a message to all the lads we've signed. If, for example, the sub, which we think he'd have done, would have been McAtee for Gibbs White, put him in 10. McAtee's coming on and thinking, good off here. I mean, this shirt. He's Forest's captain. He's not been great last 2 games. The manager's giving me a chance here to come in and play, because he's not coming here to sit on the bench. We've been through it, all of us. We've spoken on numerous pods. All these lads we've signed. And is that what's upset Nuno? Is that what's upset Nuno? The fact that he's got lads. We've got rid of lads like Danilo, who we loved, who was happy to sit on bench, come on, and he'll come on and do his best for him, because is just that character. He had Taiwo, who it can come on for 10 minutes, and when he's giving him his brief to come on, he's hanging on every word he says because he respects him that much, because that's his personality. He ain't got that now. He's got players who've come from squads who were doing well, other than Hutchinson at Ipswich, but he's at England under-21 international, who's probably got personal aspirations higher than Championship football, who were coming in and thinking, I want to play. I want to play like we've said before. McAtee's probably thinking, I am better than Gibbs White. I'm not saying he is. I'm just saying as a player, he's probably thinking, I'm better than Gibbs White. I've started games where Bernardo Silva's been on bench and I'm playing. Not playing. And I just look and I think he could have made that change to just give him a kick up the arse and just be like, right, this is the new Forest now. Last season happened. That chapter closed. We've got a new group of lads. We're all in this together. And I feel like it has sent that message. Whereas today it sent a message of, well, these are my lads. Like, I'll look after these ones. And your likes of your Douglas Luiz. I know, like you say, yeah, he's not play. Douglas Luiz can come on and play 30 minutes against West Ham of a midfield of Souček and, well, it wasn't even then, but then it was Aina and what's it like. If Douglas Luiz is on West Ham's squad today, is starting, whether he's played 15 minutes for Juventus or not, because they're professional footballers. He's not been on a beach and he's been training. He's been doing stuff. I know the intensity is probably not there for 90 minutes, so I just feel like the intensity wasn't there. They didn't look interested from the first minute, and that comes down to being G'd up outside from the first minute, and that's your manager. And as fans, we try, but you can't. There's only so much cheering and so much forced chanting you can do when it's not being replicated. You're not just going to sit there and just keep. We could all see it. It's like it's all right against Man City when we first come up and they're playing us off at Park, but it's at 0-0 and we've not had a touch. But everyone's like, something could happen. Something could happen. It's different. We're evolving, and that today was like, it was a massive, I wouldn't even say a reality check, because I don't think it was a reality check. It was almost like it feels to me, if it's Nuno's last game, it has that feel about it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, that you make some really good points there. I mean, Reece, do you ever feel like the pressure is on Nuno, because there is a different way now of football clubs, and I've spoken about this, Danny. Apart from like Arsenal, Liverpool, and City, managers haven't really got a lot of time. So like teams are recruiting in a different manner, where they're recruiting for a philosophy, and then they get a head coach to bring in that will suit that philosophy almost. Because that's why you bring in your young players. Whereas that's why I suppose why Nuno wanted Adama Traore, because he knows he can bring him in, he can trust him, he knows he'll be a squad player. Do you think he has proper thrown his toys out the pram in terms of not bringing in who he'd like them? Because it showed, like, bringing Cali Mwendo and Hutchinson at 89th minute when we're 2-0 down was literally, it was a joke, let's be honest, because they should have come on about 25 minutes earlier, if not even before that.
Yeah. I mean, there's clearly an issue, mate. It's clear as day, isn't it? It's clear as day there's an issue. And look, when you've got, whether they're Edu signings or Nuno signings, when you've got the players who we've signed on the bench for the fees we've had to not basically use them. The optics look terrible, don't they? Let's be honest. They just look terrible. And, Marinakis, I'm sure, will be saying, why haven't you used your bench today? And if he turns around and says, well, they're not my signings, then he's going to get shown the door, isn't he? That is just the reality. We don't want this to happen. We didn't want this to happen. We didn't want it to come down to this. But the club have spent, nobody's bigger than the club at the end of the day, I'm afraid. And when the club spend this amount of money, which they have, and if a manager's kind of not willing to use these players, then what choice have you got, really? So Nuno's got to either book out of this mood what it is or whatever the issue is. Because like I said, when it come about, I don't think Edu's going anywhere overseeing this Marinakis empire. So, the bets, I'm a betting man, as you know, they all point to me that says it's just going to go one way, and that's going to be Nuno going out the door. And that is not because I want that to happen. I've never wanted it to get to this stage because we all love Nuno and appreciate the job he's done for this club. He's took us on massively. You can say about back end of last season, etc. But for what Forest have been the 2 seasons before last to get us into Europe, and this week we've had with the draw and the excitement of booking flights and that abroad, it's just only looking like it's going one way, isn't it? And David Jackson hit it bang on the way home on Match Talk. He just said, everything this week has been so positive. And then literally today, and even first half, you think, like I said, it's a bad half. We're going in at 0-0. We're not behind. Come out second half. And if we would up the level to even a bit more, well, I think we'd have beaten West Ham today. But we didn't. And we drifted. And then that's where you're thinking, come on, Nuno, let's make some substitutes. And he brought McAtee on for Ndoye. Now, McAtee, I think doesn't look an out-and-out winger, does he? So it's a bit of a square peg in a round hole there. And then I'm just looking at some of the players, say, like Gibbs White was poor. I think he should have come off. We've said about, it's like I say, bringing on Douglas Luiz for Sangare, maybe when he's tiring. You've got nearly a £40 million winger on the bench because Hudson-Odoi was a bit hit and miss. But after an hour, you're thinking, right, it's not really worked for him today. We're going to change it up because we've got the quality on the bench now. And he didn't seem to want to do it. And it's just like I said at the start of the piece, mate, the optics just look terrible.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah. Well, Michael McGee said Nuno does not handle a large squad well, or more to the point, won't have one. Edu and Mr. M know there has to be a large squad to do well in all competition. They are forcing Nuno to a large squad.
Well, then it's only going to go one way, isn't it? Like I said.
Of course it is. The thing is, we all
books out of it. That is the reality.
We absolutely cried out for depth last season. It would have been the thing that would have probably got us Champions League football. He's got depth now. He's got no excuses. And like Danny said, this is, and you said, Reese, it's only going to end one way. And theoretically, it shouldn't. Like Danny said at the start, we should all be on cloud nine, looking forward to an unbelievable season where, let's be honest, at the start, after the first 2 games, we were like, fifth could be up for grabs. I know there's a lot of teams that have actually started, it's starting to even out a little bit more, other than like Wolves, maybe.
The thing is, though, I know the small squad gets used, but Nuno has said in numerous press interviews that he wants players. So that tells to me that he's happy working with a bigger squad, but he wants the players what he wants. But he's even come out on the radio tonight and said this: we still need players. So if the bigger squad's an issue, why would he be still saying we still need players? Is it, to me? You've seen it today. To me, it looks like we've signed 2 or 3 players because you've seen it today because they haven't come on until the last knock-ins. Who clearly there's been a disagreement with, and Forest have decided to sign them, and that's probably Hutchinson, Douglas Luiz. And you could even say Calamundo to a degree.
100%.
But as fans, we were looking at Calamundo and think that's a really exciting signing.
Of course.
You know what I mean? I know there will be reservations about Hutchinson because of his numbers last season, which I have personally. So I understand that to a degree. Again, with Douglas Luiz because of the season he's had at Juve. But you're looking at like Calimundo, who's had a really good season. He was at Rennes, wasn't he?
Yeah, 17 goals.
Exciting young striker. and he just brought him on the wing for a few odd minutes. It just, that seems to be the issue for me. That it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's like it's not the first time it's happened though. It's like the only difference is last season we'd never seen Thingy Souza play. It's like, I still haven't found a Forest player a Forest fan who thought Souza wasn't good. Like, not good, but they want a Forest fan who was like, oh, he's rubbish. It was like it was all of us were like, why did he just get him minutes? Like, what's going off? So we know it's an issue with Nuno of. It's almost
utilising his squad.
If I don't trust you, you're not coming on. And it's like, we all seen in games Souza come on and we were like, yeah, he's done a job. He looks absolutely fine. Like we said on the post numerous times last year. He started at Everton. One game he started, we won it. Top scorer in FA Cup for us. We only were 2 goals, but it wasn't like a dud. But the difference is we've seen these players now that we've signed. So we're looking at it from a point of view of, well, we know he's a decent player because we've seen him. Whereas Souza might have been a good player. We just didn't, because we didn't have that opinion of him from before because we'd not seen him. If we'd have made, it could have been the same. Like you said, we don't know how this is going to play out. Like we've all said, the only way this plays out, if it carries on the way it's going, is him being sacked because he's unhappy that we've signed Douglas Luiz, Hutchinson, and Callum Wendo. That's the actual facts of it. Like, that's crazy. He's mad that we've signed Douglas Luiz when we've got our midfield options Anderson, Sangari, Ryan Yates, and Dominguez, who's injured, and he's mad that we've signed a Brazil international who's 27 years old, who was at Juventus last season, who was one of the best players for Villa when he got him into the Champions League, and he's mad that. And I know everyone can say, oh, yeah, but we don't know that. We know it. We're not stupid. We know it. We know it. There's no smoke without fire. We know it. He could have quite easily bought him on, couldn't he?
Because you do the adding up today, don't you? And he's not brought any of them on until we're literally desperate.
I know. We're not stupid. We know it. You don't make them comments. It's like we all thought the issue was that we'd not bought no one in. Then the issue got stronger the week after we bought. We're like, oh, well, he's listened to Nuno because he's bought all these players in after the Brentford game. Can you remember? It was all like, oh, yeah, well, they must have listened to him. Then the following press conference after that, it was worse. And we're like, how is this worse?
Yeah, no, it makes zero sense to me. And then, we are staring down the barrel. I think he is staring down the barrel because of all of the comments he's made. Like, if you made those comments about your boss, obviously, Reece, you can't make comments about yourself, so you can't sack yourself, sort of thing. But Danny, if you started slagging your dad off in public, he'd be telling you to get on your bike, wouldn't he? Like, do you know what I mean? It makes no sense. Like,
I'm not that daft.
I don't know how you can come out and say, I need more players, blah, blah, blah. You get bought in quality that you know that you've got, or at least potential, and not use them and not utilise them in the right way. James McAtee's never been a winger. I watched him in the under-21s play the number 10 role, and he was brilliant. Harvey Elliott were playing out wide and scored a load of goals for England, won them the tournament, essentially, scoring goals. It baffles me. It really does. I mean,
Danny hit it spot on. He had the perfect opportunity because Gibb White had an off day. It happens in the Prem, but he has the perfect opportunity then, and he didn't do it. And what Gibbs White played 90 minutes. He never should have played 90 minutes today.
Gibbs White
should have brought him off. And
Gibbs White was awful. He was awful.
Everybody was below par. There isn't anybody I could say today. Probably Sells.
Sells were good.
Who hit the heights of what they did because of his shot stopping Sells.
I think just what something annoyed me is they've scored that first goal, and then from kickoff we've gave the ball away and conceded a penalty. And I mean, Sangari is going to get some absolute flack, and he weren't very good today, but he was the best out of the 3 midfielders. And I mean, the bar was very, very low by that way. But you can't you can't dive in like that. Like, wrong foot. He's going down the line. He's not going anywhere. Just shield the ball out and regroup, and bollock Gibbs White or Murillo for being so lackadaisical. It was so bad. No one took responsibility today. No one no one bollocked anyone. No one grabbed someone by the scruff of the neck and told him what to do. Gibbs White was his captain. He didn't deserve to wear the armband today. You said it yourself, Danny. He did not look interested. He didn't look interested last week. Joe, when Gibbs White loses the ball, he runs back and he chases and he harries and he tries to get stuck. And at least you're going to get that endeavour from him. The last 2 weeks, I've not seen anything of it.
He did at one point today. First half, he lost it, and he did chase back. To be fair, and I'm not defending because he was poor today. And there was a point where I think Sangare played in the pass, and it was probably a yard, and he had a bit of a go at him then. But I mean,
but that one's a bad.
You're clutching his straws, aren't you?
Pass. I didn't think that was a bad pass by Sangare. I just thought he was caught on his heels. He just because it was almost like a hands up in the air as if to say, like, it wasn't like, oh, it's on you. It was a bit like, oh, it's just not coming off. And the one where he chased back, you're right, he did, but that was because Murillo stepped out of defence, bossed forward, counter-attacked, and he's just flicked it to no one. So it's almost like, I've got to run because, one, my centre-half's out of position. Whereas, like we say, his endeavours usually just, he chases after everything. I'm a massive critic of him when he flicks it and tricks it, but I've always says he always gives his all, and I mean, I don't know if you want to go into it, but I just think he don't want to be here. He don't, and I think his interview said that when he did that one with that Max Scott, is it off TalkSPORT?
Yeah.
I think his interview spoke. It just reeked of. Basically, we've had a bit of a balls up. I've broke a legal clause. I wanted to move because I've got personal aspirations of playing for England and playing in the Champions League. So we all have what we want to do as individuals, and I couldn't do it because. Obviously, I don't want to dampen down the thing with his missus because that's not nice at all. But he played that. But the fact is, he's gone. He's not opted to stay at Forest. There's no way. We know that. He wanted to leave, and it's all right. Like, oh yeah. After the first game, it's all right when everything's going well. It's when the shit hits the fan, that's when you see the real players. And now it's like, what do we do? Because like Reece has said, he's played 90 minutes today when he should have played 45 most.
I could have dragged him after 20.
That's where you're looking at your manager, like you said, Danny, to give him a reminder.
Yeah.
And say, I don't mind it. We play well first half, and if you give him a kick up the backside at half time, give him quarter of an hour and see how we're getting on. If nothing's changed, then we change it. You know what I mean? In Doyle, fine bringing him off because he just got knocked about a bit too much. Say, bring Hutchinson on for him and bring McAtee in that 10. You've got two new lads there who are looking to impress. Wood, he just didn't really have much service, but he probably wanted one of them days. Give Callum Owendo some time up front. I know he brought Jesus on, but you're probably going to cross it more to him, aren't you? The crossing was so bad. They just headed it out every time. Put a lad up front who's a bit different, give him something else to think about, but we didn't do that. And look, and Gibbs White, he's technically signed a year extension, so it's going to come round this time next summer, and he's probably going to move on then, because if he wanted to obviously stay long term, let's be honest, he'd have signed a 5-year deal, wouldn't he? He signed an extra year, really, which I think is basically, like Danny said, Marinakis says, basically, I think someone was going to get sued.
Yeah.
And it was basically a deal, look, we'll next summer, someone will probably come in and we'll let you go then. But we like it up as fans because that's social media nowadays. We've seen it.
It's just life, isn't it?
Yeah,
but the Ndoye sub as well. That's the easiest sub to make on the pitch, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's the issue. It's like the easiest sub because he's not going to get no backlash. Is the new boy? It's like we'll bring him off. Then the next sub 89 minutes.
Yeah, when we were 2-0 down. And it's like last week we switched Hudson-Odoi and Ndoye ran, and it worked. Just give them something different to think about. And we never did that once, Dan. I just the whole game it was just strange. And like I said, I keep going on about optics, but you're looking at that. optic-wise and thinking that was just a disaster for Nuno today. An absolute disaster.
I've got decent information from a Spurs fan that I met a couple of weeks ago that Gibbs White had already done all the photography, everything that you do as a new player for a new football club. So it was clear that he wanted to go. And like you said, we basically, I think there was a legal kind of breach there. He signed a new 1-year deal. I'm struggling. I'm struggling to see like these last 2 games. I'm struggling to see what Champions League team he plays for at the moment. Because he's not consistent enough for us. He can't shoot for one.
Like me and Danny have said, that is where you need your manager to give him a reminder and say, "Look, son, you're here," and that is the end of this. You've at the end of the day, you put the pen to paper whether you want to be here or not. Right? You're here. You've got an England tournament coming up at the end of the season, so you're going to want to play well. He was fabulous against Brentford. But when you do drop below that level, we've got someone else on the bench now who we can bring on for you. And
it's like Reece is right. It's like the manager thing. I think we all felt the same with Brennan, didn't we? We all felt Brennan got a bit too big for his boots at Forest, and it were like his next move. If he's going to progress, he needs to go to a club where he can't be that luxury, and he's got to put it in. And he's gone to Tottenham, and even though he's hit and miss, his numbers are outstanding, aren't they?
He was top scorer for them last season,
and he gets a lot of stick on line as well.
Yeah,
as is Alanga.
And he does, but we did feel the same with Johnson. I think as a fan base, we was all a bit like, I think he's got a bit too big now. Like he needs to either be knocked down a peg or two, and that's what basically happened, didn't we? We didn't really play him at the last couple of games, and it was like a bit of a reality check. So it felt like when we did lose him, we were losing a player for 40, 50 million, where we was like, well, to be fair, he didn't start 3 of the last 7 or whatever it was, and we didn't feel as bad. And I think if we'd had the same squad we had now in that situation, if we'd had McAtee in the door, maybe they'd let him go. But we was just in no position at that time. Marinakis has just done everything he can to make sure the cards didn't come tumbling down. Because that's just the man he is. That's what we all know. But now we're in a lot better position. It's like, I'm not calling for him to be sold now, but if he was to go tomorrow, and we was to be able to then win a bit more of a strength to buy, wouldn't we? Because we've got, like you say, you've got a like for like that can come in McAtee. We could maybe go out and buy another player, but obviously it's not going to happen now. But going forward, like Reece says, that's where we're looking. We're looking next year. We'll be very surprised if he's still here.
Yeah. I mean, James has come in with a question. Anyone else think he's after the sack? Reece, your response to that?
Like I said, this is the 3rd time I've said it now, but the optics just were terrible, mate. It was. And you can't beat around the bush. You just can't. And like I said again, there needs to be a resolution somehow. And the resolution is either Nuno gets on with his job, and he can't be saying stuff in press conferences or not using players who've been brought in, or he's going to get the boot, mate. That is the only 2 resolutions. We can't, as a club, we can't pander around the manager. We just can't. You just can't do that. That's no way to run a business. Yeah. You can't say, we've signed you £100 million worth of talent and they're sat on bench every week. That's just not just so we can keep a manager who we all like and love. That's just not how the game works, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I mean, after today, mate, I do think that'll be his last game after today.
Do you?
I do. Yeah, I do, because I'm just looking at it with a balanced view personally, and there isn't any defending really Nuno today, is it? And for him to come on the radio and it was a bad performance. Well, he did nothing to change it. Nothing at all to change it, apart from chuck a number 10 on the right wing. When we've got a right winger on the bench, 37.5 million, we're going to play someone probably out of position who we've chased all summer. So he's probably someone who Nuno might want. Whereas these other 3 have I know Douglas Luiz has been one, but Hutchinson and Callum Mwenda come out of nowhere, didn't they? Really, there wasn't like a continued. Yeah. And they've all of a sudden been signed, and then all of a sudden there's been these comments, and then they're not getting used. It just adds up too much, mate, for me.
Yeah, Danny, you're quite strong on the Nuno out kind of brigade, aren't you? Because of all this, I suppose, and it's not like a knee-jerk reaction. I'm kind of summarising that it's because of everything that's happened that Reece just said.
Yeah, well, I'm just in the camp of, how's it resolved? What's his issue? What is his issue? Do we go and have a meeting? He turns around and says, I want him, and him. And then what? Do we sign these three? Say he wants 3 players. Say he wants Traore. He wants a midfielder. He wants a. Do we go and sign his players? Then we don't play the ones that the club signed because he doesn't want them. So, it doesn't happen. That's never going to happen. We're not going to turn around. I just can't see from what I just can't see how this situation's come about. Like, I can't see it. It just doesn't happen. Where a manager comes out and basically slags off his boss, who, from the outside looking at, we're Forest fans, so we're seeing it from a point of view of we love Nuno. Other clubs will be thinking he's absolutely crazy. Like Marco Silva, they've got who they got. I don't know who they've signed. You've got Bournemouth lost all the back line, and Ariola's done an amazing job. Like, they're working with what they've got, and they're not moaning. I mean, Marco Silva's moaning because he's not being backed, but Nuno's is the opposite. He's almost moaning that I've been backed, but I'm not being backed by the players I want, because I want players that are going to come in and maybe be happy with the score and just be happy to be a bit of a rotation and stuff. That's your man management. That's how you earn your money. It's the same as your in-game management. That's where your best managers do it. That's where your best managers today make 5 changes at 0-0. And they go on and win the game, and you look and you fit, and you go on and win the game, and do you know what happens? You go on, you win the game, and the post-match is, we were crap till we brought them changes on, but that strength in depth, what we've signed, has gone and won us the game. And because
thank you, Mr. Marinakis, for the reinforcement.
Yeah, like Reece says, that they brought Callum Wilson on and Somerville. Do you know what I mean? If we signed them, we'd be going, what have we signed? Maybe not Somerville, but Callum Wilson. So I can't see how it gets resolved other than him going. And I wasn't happy with his interview after today. I thought he just sounded a bit nonchalant about it. The thing is with Nuno, what he needs to realise is, we've all got used to how he talks in interviews. He's blunt, he's short. Whether we win or lose, you can read him like a book. That's one thing, I think that's why we all like him, because you see what he is. You can see, there's no facade almost. It's like, we know if he's upset, he's upset. We know that, like, when he does, I know it's like going off on a tangent, but like when he does stuff for the kids, the poorly kids in the hospitals and stuff, is such a genuinely nice bloke. You can see it. He can't hide that. Today in his interview, it was almost like blasé. Yeah, well, it wasn't good. Yeah, well, yeah, maybe I'll be here. Of course I want to be here. Not like, it's crazy. It could have. This has all come from what he's said at the start of the season. He's thrown a bomb in there. He's thrown a grenade in there. Maybe he wouldn't have thrown the grenade in if he'd not signed a new deal and he only had 1 year left on his contract. But because he's got that security of a 3-year deal, maybe that is probably thinking, well, go and sack me then. Which, I mean, I don't know much about his past. I don't. But Simon Jordan says that he's a difficult manager to work with when we signed him. And he says he knows from correspondence at Wolves. Is this what it is? Is it like the minute you cross him, he's not willing to
compromise.
Compromise isn't what he does. Compromise, that we've seen it. Maybe he does that with the board. Maybe we've seen it with his players.
Maybe
if you don't, I've upset Reece.
And then people think I'm in a dungeon.
But no, so yeah, I am, and I think it's done. I can't see it go. And I know it's not a knee jerk. It's not from one game. Like yesterday, I was absolutely buzzing. I couldn't sleep last night. I'd booked flights to Seville. I'm not here like a doom and gloomer. I'm not. Like, I love it. and I love Nuno, I do, but I feel like he's done something that didn't need to be done at all, and I just can't see where we go from here with him as manager. I just can't, because performances like that, they don't happen. Like the Bournemouth one last season when we lost 5-0. None of us come out of it and thought, oh, he wants sacking. Like, none of us. We just was like, oh, it was just an off day. Today didn't feel like an off day. It didn't. It didn't feel like an off day. It felt like a bit. It felt like a bit more. It felt like there was a bit more to it, and maybe it's because we're overthinking with what's happened. But I can't see it. There's no smoke without fire, and as Reece said, I think it's his last game. I do.
Tom Newton in the chat, an absolute mess which has been festering for nearly 2 weeks. There is 377 people in here. If you are enjoying what you're hearing, listening, watching, do drop us a like and a subscribe. I mean, I would love to hear from everyone who's watching. If you're Nuno in or Nuno out. I mean, Reece, if he was to go, say the yellow tape come out, just says that Nuno Espirito Santo has been relieved of his duties as manager. Who's your favourite? Because Danny's mentioned Marco Silva, Iraola already, who are got 1 year left, not been really backed. Glass has not been backed really by Palace. Obviously Mourinho is available, but I think his time's gone. But he wouldn't have hesitated taking Gibbs White off at half time. I tell you that, at least.
Look, before this, like Tom's just said there, before these 2 weeks, there isn't. You could probably get one or two Forest fans who might want to change the manager. But everybody's Nuno, and nobody is actively wanting Nuno out. It's only because of what's happened the last couple of weeks is where people are looking today and they're thinking, like I said again, God, this is the buzzword, it's part of the optics. People aren't, like Danny said, people aren't daft, are they? You can't pull wool over people's eyes. And when you're just looking, you're looking today and thinking, why is he not bringing these players on? People aren't bleeding daft. And yeah, and so no one's like Nuno out, but you're just thinking what's going to happen. Because like I said, there's two resolutions to it. Either Nuno gets on with his job and says, yeah, thank you, Mr. Marinakis. Look, I'm willing to work with this squad. You backed me. Let's get on with it. Let's everyone get on with it. But there's clearly an issue with Edu, or he basically, Marinakis can't find a resolution, then he's got no choice but to relieve him as his duties. You can't keep a manager. That's the worst thing you could do, is keeping somebody who don't want to be here, or is basically, because you look at like that'd just be a disaster. I know people might say, well, he's done it with Gibbs White, but he's had him over a barrel, hasn't he, legally? But no, I don't want to start talking about other managers now. I don't, because obviously, like Danny said, Nuno's a great guy. He's done brilliant for his club, and nobody wants to be in this situation. We just don't. You just can't see a resolution, can you? Unfortunately.
Yeah. I know you don't want to talk about other managers, but if he does go, we're gonna have to get someone.
Well, look, I mean, it feels mad saying this because he's probably he's definitely one of my favourite ever managers. But Mourinho would be a disaster of appointment. It'd be a novelty. It'd be great for 2 weeks. We'd all love it. We'd all buy into the hype because it's Jose Mourinho and what he brings, the charisma. But it'd just be a disaster, mate. It would.
Because you try and go for Iraola or Silva or someone of that ilk.
Well, Silva's always been the one who's been spoken about, hasn't he, by obviously Dan in the Athletic. I mean, he's kind of meets fire with fire, doesn't he? I think Silva and Marinakis. I mean, he was going apoplectic yesterday, and with good reason as well. But that'd be an interesting one. I mean, any of them three, they're all good managers. I mean, Iraola's a very good manager. Like Danny said again, I look at him in the press conference and he's had pretty much the heart of his defence ripped out, and he's smiling, he's laughing, he's getting on with it. He's had a cracking result yesterday, gone to Tottenham, who everyone thought, oh yeah, this is a new Tottenham, and because they've won back-to-back games, he goes there and they win 1-0.
Well, they battered him 1-0 as well.
Yeah.
They battered him 1-0.
So yeah, good manager. Oliver Glasner goes into a pretty middle of the road club in Palace, and I'm not just saying that because of this rivalry, which is what they are. He's won them an FA Cup. The Community Shield's not relevant, so I'm not going to go into that because that's a pre-season friendly, one game. But he's done a good job there. and he's not been backed. I think he's only got a year left on his deal. So you have got to look round, and it is strange in football. It's like I said to Mason in the group, that we all pay big money for players, but when there's a manager comes about and you've got to pay a bit of money for him, when they're a massive commodity to your football club, teams are a bit hesitant. So if Forest want a manager who's in work and he's the man, if Nuno does go, and they've got to pay $5 million for, but they believe he's the man, pay it.
Yeah, I mean, Danny, who'd be on your list?
Mine will be Iraola every day.
Yeah,
I think he's got it in him to be.
Well, him, Silver and Glasson have all got 1 year left, so you wouldn't think they'd cost them a lot of money. And surely, looking at our squad, they'd go, bloody hell, I'd love to come here.
100%. I mean, it's like with the money thing. If it does cost money, I think if it's like Reece says, if they want him, go and get him. If you've got a target and he's your manager that you want, because that's what you do. That's what you do as a company, as a business. You go out to get who you think the best is. And if we think Iraola is the best and it's going to cost us 7-8 million to go and sign him, go and sign him. Go and get him in, because it might need, as crazy as it sounds, it's like we've got to evolve. We know we can't. That side can't sustain what happened last year. We all know it. Like we're not here thinking, oh well, yeah. It's just like it'll all come and it'll all click together. We're not. We know that last season we've overachieved, and we've got into Europa League, and we were struggling at the end of last year, so we've needed backup. And the fact is, he's played the 11 other than Undoy. That's the 11 we had last season. Do you know what I mean? Undoy's coming, but that's only because the Langer's not there. So it's not like we're playing a completely different team. It's like, and with evolution, it might mean that we need the next level of manager. And we was all skeptical when the question was at the time when Cooper got sacked, is Nuno good enough? Is he a step up? Maybe not. Always been in Saudi. Look what's happened. There's levels. And I think Iraola's definitely a level above Nuno. And I don't think that's detrimental to say. I think if other clubs are looking at two managers and Nuno and Iraola of them, they all go for Iraola. Do you know what I mean? I think as a manager, he's got a better ceiling. I feel like he's probably more of a manager that people are looking at and thinking he's got something this has. And he's young and he's hungry. So yeah, Iraola would be mine. Marco Silva, I'd take, no issues. I mean, I'd love Mourinho to work, but it won't. It just won't. We'd all love it. It'd be the dream, wouldn't it? Yeah. Going doing well, and let's be honest, it'd be the dream. We'd love him to come here to get that spot back that he had when he come to Chelsea, to give it the I'm the number 2 behind Brian Clough, all that. What we all know we want to happen. We can all see what he'd do. Like Reece said, we'd be on that bandwagon because we know exactly what would be said in that first 2 weeks. It'd probably come on press conference in a green jumper. Do you know what I mean? We'd all be like, this is, and that's what we'd love it. Absolutely love it. But he's not, cat's on. It's not, it's not that man no more, is he? We've seen it. He's not done it. He's not done it. I mean, the Tottenham documentary didn't do him no favours, did it? And but no, I would. There's part of me inside me which still would just be like, do we do it? But no, it'd be a disaster. But so for me, Iraola would be number 1, mate.
I think for me, Iraola's football is more sustainable in this modern era of football. Like he can play counter as well with that Bournemouth side. They're brilliant to watch when they're in full flow. They've got some great players. I just think him, Glasner, Silva would all look at Forest business and go, do you know what, they've got an owner backing us and doing well. Like, don't get me wrong, Bournemouth have got money and they've been backed a little bit, but they had the whole back 5 even ripped out. Really, it's only like Adam Smith who's there. That's like was there, but he's been there for donkey's years. Do you know what I mean? He's like part of the furniture. So no, it's an interesting conversation. I think would you accept if Nuno come out and like, or there was a statement from the club and then he actually just started getting on with it and then got back to it from when we play Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time after the international break, you'd kind of want that to happen as well at the same time. It's a strange one, isn't it?
Is the mic working?
It is working, mate. Yeah, you go for it.
It come off the browser. Sorry to everyone watching. Of course you would. But if there's an underlying issue that's been going on for a while, do you think it gets resolved in one meeting? You know, we're as fans, and I'm guilty of it as well, we all want it to because we all love Nuno and we want, you know...
You want stability as well, don't you?
Yeah, of course, because you look at how much the players love him. You know, the feel-good factor is brought around. The players obviously getting us into Europe. We're all excited about his European venture. And you don't want all this uncertainty. It's just not ideal for anybody, is it? That's why it needs to be thrashed out this week. You know, like Tom said, it's been going on 2 weeks, and it's too long. It's 2 weeks. It needs to resolve in either way. And I just can't see it being resolved the way we kind of want it to go, really, after today, I think.
I'm going to ask a controversial question, and you know what's coming. By the time we play Arsenal, Reese, will Nuno be our manager? Yes or no? What's your gut telling you?
My gut says no, mate. I'm going to be honest, and I hate saying it because I want to say yeah, and everything's going to be fine with Nuno, and he's earned the right to take us into Europe this season because he was the manager who got us qualified for it. As much as we can talk about the drop off at the end of the season, he's kind of earned the right. But after today, mate, I just my guts tells me no, and that's my honest answer. I'm not going to sit on here and lie for the sake of being happy clapper, really.
Yeah, Danny, your verdict?
Yeah, I'm saying I'm no. It's for me. I can't see it being resolved. We all want stability, but he's the one that basically called the instability of the situation. He's the one that unsettled it all. I'm in the understanding of if Forrest had backed him, I would have backed him, and the only way he'd have left would have been down to results, like every other manager. So, no, I'd be very, very surprised if he's at Arsenal. So yeah, I'm the same as Reece. I'm 100%. I can't see him being in the dugout.
And look, I hope I'm wrong and it gets resolved. I do. I really do.
I mean, I think I'm in the same boat. It almost brings me back memories of Karanka when that all went seemingly wrong after we beat. I remember we beat Ipswich 2-0. We scored one of the best team goals I've seen that season, where every player touched the ball and then Derek would sweep the ball in and grab and put it in. And you're like, well, we're doing brilliant. And then he come out and he looked like just like kicking a can down the road type vibes. And it was just like, what the heck has happened? And that it kind of gives me that feeling. I'm in agreement with you. I mean, Michael McGee said, what about Cars? I don't think he'll leave the under-21s. It's too cushy for him. He loves doing it. I just can't see it happening.
He's not at this level, mate.
No, I think it'd be difficult for him. But no, so I'm intrigued. It's going to be an intriguing couple of days. Obviously, the window's still open until tomorrow. God knows what's going to happen. I mean, we all know Marinakis loves deadline day. We still probably need a right winger, maybe a third. I think a third choice goalkeeper is a bit out of the blue, really. I don't know.
Like WT analysis put, if we was to get rid of, if we was to bring in the lad from Botafogo, the left back, it could be Arno, the keeper from Botafogo, and if we was to bring in another winger and then also let Jota and Taiwo go, would still be 3 players over the European squad.
Right. So
I think that's as well as leaving Dominguez out as well with his injury. So you know, I get it's all right signing players, but not really got the space.
I suppose you'd only have 2 keepers, wouldn't you?
I'm not sure if you have to register 3 or not.
3.
I don't know. I don't know all the ins and outs.
Doing the World Cup, I don't know if it's different.
You'd put Bot in, wouldn't you, though?
Yeah.
The Bot's a 3, you'd put Bot in.
Yeah.
But then you think, what was the point in signing Gunn then? If he's not going to be number 2.
Yeah, very
strange.
There's
no point in really signing it. It'd be interesting. I mean, we're not even spoke about the goals, have we?
No, because bugger them, because it was so bad. I'm not speaking about them. I want positivity. Danny, where have you booked anywhere nice for the Euros? Are you going to Sevilla? Are you going anywhere else? Let's end on a positive.
Let's end on a positive. Yeah, we're booked to go to Sevilla. So whether I get a ticket or not, I just want to be there. First European game, I want to be in the city when it happens. And then the rest, I'm just pending, see what happens. Going to try and get to as many as I can, really. It's like I've said, I don't know when it'll ever happen again, do we? We've got to strike while the iron's hot. So no, I can't. I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't honestly. Like, it's just a shame. What's happened today is a shame, but the big picture is in about when is it? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? There's gonna be a massive load of people in Nottingham in a red hot city in Spain, shirts off, bellies out, Madrid, and just everything.
And oranges.
Yeah, exactly. And we're all going to be there, and it's just going to, because we all know that's what football is, isn't it? That's what it's all about. It's what this is just a day in the life of a football fan, isn't it? But the bigger picture of it is like this. It's what we're doing now. It's seeing the people you've been seeing today, going to the games with the people that you go with, and it's like going to Europe. It's something I never thought that'd happen. Like my dad and that, he got the times. He went to Munich. He went to in '96 and that. They go on about them. We get to talk about our memories now. We're going to have these same ones, and you're going to see the same faces you've seen at Rotherham and Huddersfield, but we're a bit of sun on them. So no,
the lobsters.
No, I can't. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait, mate. I can't wait, honestly.
Reece, are you doing all 4? Have you got it all?
So I booked 3. Obviously, Seville's first in it. I think, is it Graz is second in it, but I've waited with Graz because of the allocation, what we're expecting. If I get a ticket, I will do it, I think, if it's feasible. But Utrecht, which is, be fun.
Not going Braga?
I'm going Braga. Yeah, Braga's the last one into away. Yeah. So yeah,
I'll be booking sofa in front room. That's where I'm going for the European games.
But I'll do a few pictures and that for the pod page, and
thank you.
You know, I'm not going to go around interviewing people, and I haven't got time for that. But
no, don't bother about that. That's fine.
I'll do a few videos of
just enjoy yourself.
Yeah,
both of you enjoy yourself. I'm sure the rest of the do it by being disciplined. Yeah, that's it. No, I'm sure you'll both enjoy it along with the rest who've been travelling up and down the country, watching us be absolutely awful at every Tom, Dick, and Harry ground in the country, like Gillingham and Walsall and Woking and whoever else. You know what I mean? Yeah, Weymouth.
God.
Yeah, and the rest.
Yeah, it's just a shame. For those who don't know, it is just a shame it's not at Betis's home stadium, because theirs looks a proper stadium, and it's a shame they're playing it like an Olympic stadium because it's being renovated. But it is what it is for that.
That is. Any other news that you want to end with before we finish the pod, Danny?
No, nothing for me, mate. Not tonight.
No.
Nothing.
Have you got it all off your chest? Do you feel a bit better?
Yeah, I feel loads better now.
That's a therapy session there, isn't it?
I tell you what, though, I needed it. I did need it, because before I come on,
I don't do anything for you.
Yeah, exactly. No, we all need it. That's what it's about. That's why, like you say, that's what these podcasts and that are for. It's not everything's like an agenda. Not everything's personal. You can have a disagreement, but it's when you come on a podcast, when you can talk about it, you can get it across in a totally different way that you do need to. And I imagine for people listening, I mean, when I listen to it, it helps me. I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's where we are now. It's only like we could have been in a pub doing it, but I'm sat in my kitchen.
Maybe we'll do a live one in a pub one day. We'll get maybe like man and his dog in the background or something.
Yeah, but no, Reece, I'm all good, mate.
Good. Reece, anything?
No, mate. No, that's we've had a good hour, haven't we? And we'll leave it to that. Leave it on a positive note, mate.
I know. I'm dreading stewing over this loss for the next.
I know. That's what I just thinking.
Well, Arsenal away when we come back, we'll beat them after their dreadful.
Well, it'll be fine for me when Milenkovic heads in the winner against England for Serbia.
Right. Well, if you've enjoyed it, I mean, an ironic number of 420 in the live chat as watching. If you've enjoyed it, do drop us a like and a subscribe. All goes a long way. Hopefully, you'll consider membership for early future pods. There won't probably be that much coming in the next week and a bit. Might be a little bit of a break before we come out with some Arsenal stuff and previews for the next game.
Should have a special guest lined up, I'm hoping.
Yes, we should have a special guest lined up. All right. Well, we'll see you in the next one. Everyone stay positive. It'll all be hunky dory by the time we beat Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time. But until next time, come on, you Reds.